Just really having a place where you can be known for who you are, and not just because you don't have a home, but who you are as a person, what your particular sense of humor or personality is like, your traits, what you like and don't like.
I have worked as a shelter supervisor down here for a year and a half, but within that year, I used to do rapid rehousing applications upstairs with the housing office. I just think that they have improved, and they're just continuing to improve. They're just branching out more. They're trying to offer more services to our guests to help them, just not be out there with nothing. All right. So the Haven is just the year and a half that I've worked here. Even though I feel like I've worked here longer, because with Pacho, I still came here. We did intake here, so I got to know everybody. The Haven is just awesome. Because I remember what it was like before the Haven got here, and now to have the Haven here, it's just great. It's just great, and it just helps our guests so much.
So I started off as a volunteer, having gone through my own trials and tribulations. So just to, broaden my perspective and awareness upon this community, and also to help reconcile some shortcomings within myself. I heard about the Haven last year at the beginning of 2018, and I started volunteering for about 8 months. And after the 8th month of volunteering here, I was offered a position for shift supervisor, which I just accepted, since I figured it's a nice place and let me see where this may take me. So for me, it brings a certain kind of enjoyment to my life, a fulfillment in a sense, but it brings a challenging way for me to grow as a person in dealing with other people, people with mental health issues, and people with anxiety, and people who are down on their luck.
One day when I was volunteering, there was this man that came up and asked me why I was there. So I explained to him it was for my class, and he just had this really powerful story about how a lot of UVA students look at the homeless in a very negative way, and he's had the police called on him multiple times, and it really just opened my eyes to how UVA students are only on grounds for 4 years, but they live here, this is their home, so technically we are invading their space, they're not invading ours. I was definitely a little nervous at first because there's definitely all these preconceived thoughts and ideas about homeless people, how they're always angry and fighting and stuff, and I found that not true at the Haven. Everyone's very friendly and they actually want to talk to you. I didn't really know a lot about food insecurity because my home has always had anything I've ever needed. So it's definitely been an eye-opener and a great experience.
I came maybe once every couple months for the first couple years of high school, and then I stopped coming after 10th grade, and then I started coming again January of this year. Just when people come up and thank the workers at the front desk, it's always really nice. They're always very genuine. I had a guy come in and ask for a phone charger, and we didn't have any in the back, so I just gave him the block that I had, and he broke down crying, and I thought that was really sweet. I don't know, I guess I didn't realize just how much people at the Haven try and do for the homeless people here. There's just anything that we can get them. Della or Rob or any of the people who work here will try their best to get it, and I think that's really cool. I mean, it's definitely a big thing. I don't really think about it as much day to day, but it definitely puts it in perspective that these people they're having to think about where they're gonna stay at night, and how they're gonna sleep, and am I gonna be warm enough? Do I have a blanket, et cetera, et cetera.
Was really impressed with the philosophy, the both the low barrier aspect of it, but then also the notion of radical hospitality, and the desire to provide a safe space and community for folks who are living on the street. And then I started volunteering in the kitchen, And yeah, I spent a year coming in and mostly doing dishes and getting to know guests and staff. And yeah, it was a really wonderful volunteer experience.
I think talking to all the guests and learning their stories was really powerful, because it gives you a new perspective of what people are going through, and complexities and things that they didn't think they would experience, and you don't even think about a lot. Homelessness can happen for a lot of different reasons, and it can happen really easily. So it just gave me more insight into more compassion and more insight into the people that are homeless, and makes me think more about how they got there. When I came in the first time, I was really intimidated because it's really loud, and as I got more comfortable with the people and recognized them, I was excited to go and see the people that I knew, and it just became more of a fun environment and less intimidating.
There was one guest there whose name I'm not going to use, but he is a really nice guy, but he's been through a lot, and I helped him make a Facebook page, which is probably one of the most basic things that you and I can do. It takes us 5 seconds. But he was so eternally grateful because I just got him online, and when you're trying to find a job and just trying to start your life over again in this day and age, you need to have some kind of online presence, and just seeing how small of a thing I did made such a big impact, that was just a really powerful moment.
I started, it's going on 10 years ago. And actually, the reason I started volunteering is because I once was homeless, and I sort of part of this program helped me become unhomeless, get off of alcohol, and get my life back together. And now I said I need to give back.
Yeah.
So I've been giving back. And my main reason for doing it is to show that it can be done. I have in the years that I've been here, I've seen a whole bunch of people that was in my predicament, or some a little bit worse, that this place has got on their feet, got them a brand new lifestyle. And some of them that has been here ever since I've been here is still here. Charlottesville is a very, very expensive place to live. It's considering the salaries. If you don't have a real decent salary in Charlottesville, you got to work two jobs just to maintain. 9 times out of 10. And that's what people get in, I don't care. Just give up. They can't see no light at the end of the tunnel, because the harder they work, they're not moving nowhere. And no matter who or where you at, if you can't see making a headway one way or the other, you're going to get down and depressed.
The people who come to the Haven oftentimes have nowhere else to go. So imagine, it's a pretty low bar for us in a way. It's well, of course people are going to feel welcome and happy here, because it's a place that is built exclusively for them. It is purpose built. And our outreach is for people who don't have another place to go. But beyond that, beyond just keeping our doors open, and literally, imagine if everywhere else you went, there are eyes on you, and people are looking at you or averting their eyes. And when you come here, people know your name, they look you in the eyes, they offer you things that you need instead of you having to ask for it. I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too hard for just being a great place for people who don't have a home to be able to come and be out of the weather and the public gaze, because that's what we're here for.
One of the really interesting things about the Haven is that it really does interact with the entire community, not just people who are homeless. And I think that is a really unique aspect of the Haven. There are lots of events that happen at the Haven that bring community members in, so it breaks down those barriers. I knew that it would be accessible to students. I knew that it was a unique place as well in terms of environment, in terms of the mission, and the ways in which they try to creatively, I think, solve a problem and really create community for people. So I was hoping that it would be a good fit for my students. We're going in to build relationships, and we're going in not just to go give of ourselves at all. We're going in to learn, we're going in to see what we can do as allies, as helpers, as listeners and partners. I think working at the Haven just made me stop and talk to people more, offer them coffee, just stop and chat more than maybe I used to. In terms of impact, I think the impact is probably so great, but we maybe don't see it as much. The impact is really those people that are getting housing and those people that are having their lives changed by having access to resources they wouldn't have otherwise. And I think the longer you work there, the more you see that, but Charlottesville residents may not necessarily see some of those narratives take shape. So hopefully that's what we can do too as allies, make some of those stories more visible.
I love giving back and showing compassion to the people that are less fortunate, because it could be me or it could be somebody in my family, and I just want to give and be there for people and help them and answer questions for them and do what I can do to help them, because right now they're just at a low point in their life. And if I could just help one person, find a place to live, or just to show compassion that you're down right now, but don't give up, because just think positive, because things will look up and get better for you. All you need to do is just work hard to make the connections that you need for housing and come here to the Haven. We have a lot to offer, a lot of services to offer and everything. So I just love, it's like a ministry for me, because I just love working with people who are down at the moment and just want to help them come back up. When children and volunteers just come in with bags of donations for our guests, that means a lot, because they don't have to do it. And just from working here, the Haven runs off of volunteers and donations. So they don't go out and buy a lot of stuff. Is the stuff that the volunteers donate. Now, we have just about everything. I mean, sometimes guests will ask for something small as a fingernail file, and I'll look and go, don't know we have those. And then I'll go to the locker and there are fingernail files or whatever, So to see the kindness of people who donate here, to bring the donations here, especially children when they come in, that's kind of,